Hello everybody and welcome to Community Forum. My name is Ron Vecchia and with me today is Patty Cusack, right?
Yes, exactly.
She's the executive director of the Arbors. Not the Arboretum, we're talking about the Arbors in Winthrop. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Arbors is now located in the old Winthrop Hospital, which has been vacant for 14 years, 15 years,
15
whatever the
plus.
case. Yeah, 15 plus. And through the years, it's been, gone through all types of different ideas of what could really become, some type of a condominium location or whatever the case may be. Make a long story short, the Arbors is ready to open, and it is an independent and assisted living center in the town of Winthrop. And Patty is the executive director of Arbors, and she is here to talk to us about Grala, the Grala group, which is the group that's actually going to run it. And I, took the liberty of going on your website, and quite an organization. The Grala family
It's such a
is
nice
really involved
organization.
with it.
It really is. What I loved about this organization is that it's family owned and it's family run. So a brother and a sister, Ernie and Carol, own the company. They started out doing 55 plus housing 20 years ago. They also have some daycare centers. And about 16 years ago, they got into assisted living. We now have 8 communities, 4 in Eastern Mass and 4 in Western Mass. And so Winthrop, we're excited. We're so excited to bring back the old hospital and to bring it alive and to breathe new life into it.
Well, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
There's probably 18,000 people in Winthrop that are with it as well. But I did notice that. It says you have Arbors Assisted Living. You have the Arbor Kids. So it's like a daycare thing that you have
Yeah,
as well?
we have 3 daycares.
Really?
And one of our communities is located right next door to the daycare. So they do a lot of cross-generational,
that's
intergenerational
nice.
programs.
That's great.
And so the kids feel like, I've got 70 grandparents. And of course, the residents love being around the children.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, talk to us about the facility in Winthrop now. First of all, is it getting ready to open? I see all types of activities, some finish work being done up there.
Yeah,
What's
so
the scoop?
the interior of the building is completely furnished and it looks beautiful. And people can come by and tour and see the facility every Saturday from 10 to 2. I or one of my coworkers will be there and give people a tour. And we anticipate on having our first residents move in mid-January.
Really? That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little about the actual facility itself. We're going to show a video shortly that will give you a kind of a taste of this thing, which is really impressive looking when you look at some of the video that was taken. In fact, I was speaking to Peter Gill.
Yeah.
And Peter had taken a tour there, and he was quite impressed with the facility.
I'm so glad
From what he
because
expected, it was really tremendous.
yeah, we are so proud of it, and we're so pleased with the way that it came out. So to bring people around, I was touring somebody who used to be a nurse there for 24 years. So she was touring me. She was taking me around the building, and she was saying, this is where the OR used to be, and this is where wellness used to be, and physical therapy. So it was so neat for me to learn the history of that as well.
Right. That's great. That's great.
But let me tell you a little bit about
Yep.
what we have going on. So the Arbors offers 3 different lifestyle choices: independent living, assisted living, and we also have a secured memory impairment program as well. We're a rental retirement community, and a lot of people ask me that. They ask if they can buy an
I see, like a
apartment, like a
condominium type of thing?
condo.
Oh, really?
And I think some of that is from some of the past history and discussion about what would happen with the building. But I want to be clear that we are a rental community. So it's like renting an apartment, but with a whole lot of extras.
Okay, so first of all, let's take a look at the independent
Yeah.
one as an example. What age do you have to be?
Everyone at the Arbors needs to be 62 or above.
Okay. Married, husband and wife, could be single, whatever?
Could be single, could be husband and wife. I've worked in some communities where people have ended up being husband and wife.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I could see that too.
yeah.
So So then I would assume that you have different facility, in other different apartments, maybe 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom,
We
et cetera?
do. We have, and because, again, this is different for us, normally we build from the ground up. So this is the first time that the Arbors has done kind of a retrofit, and we have leased the building from the owner. And because of that, it's a retrofit. There really aren't any 2 apartments that are exactly alike.
Right.
So it's really neat.
So they
We
must
have
went through.
studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, with a whole
Nice.
variety.
So it wasn't a cookie cutter going
No,
in at all.
it's far from it.
Okay, so independent living, 62 and above, and this is for a couple or a person that is 100% mobile, has a car and so forth?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the kind of person that would choose to be in independent living is probably living in their own home. They've probably been in that home for a long time, and they're looking around going, ugh, there's a lot of maintenance here.
Right.
Snow's coming. I don't want to have to deal with snow removal anymore. The roof is leaking. This appliance broke down. Maybe the stairs are getting to be too much. It's just home maintenance for them is more than they want to handle.
Right.
So they're looking to downsize and make their life a little easier. But these people don't need any assistance with personal care. They come and go, they drive, they go on vacation. It's simply like locking the condo up and heading down south if that's what they want to do.
So the price that they pay for the rental of the unit, in fact, do they have to have a lease or anything like that?
Yeah.
There is a lease?
There is a lease. It's an annual lease.
Okay.
But the great thing about it is, you know, it's an adjustment for a senior to go from their own home into a
sure.
communal living environment, and we recognize that.
Right.
So if it's difficult for a person to make that adjustment and they're unhappy, we don't want them to be unhappy.
Right.
They simply write a note and 30 days later they move out.
I see. So it's very similar to an apartment house where
Very
inside the door, from when you close the door, you're in charge of like cleaning the place up and so forth. It's not anything that's assisted?
Well, no. Actually, what's lovely, and which is why I'm trying to get my boss to rent me an apartment, and she won't do
Don't
it.
tell me it's like a, don't tell me it's like a hotel.
It is.
Really?
Yes. So 3 meals a day are included
Now I heard that, but even the
in independent living.
so independent living, you get your own place,
You have your own place.
and you have it includes 3 meals a day.
Yes.
Plus, but you still have in your apartment a stove if you wanted to cook.
You have
and
a
stuff.
full kitchen.
Okay.
And we're going to look at that in a minute.
Okay, and what about the maintenance inside, like cleaning the toilet,
We
cleaning
handle
the bathroom?
everything. You're going to
They
have
handle everything?
weekly housekeeping. Someone is going to come in once a week.
Where do I sign up?
Well, actually, I have some paperwork too. Once a week, somebody's going to come in and they're going to vacuum. They're going to clean your kitchen, clean your bathroom. They'll dust. They'll take the sheets off your bed, put clean sheets on your bed, and make your bed. So
Interesting.
if a light bulb goes out overhead, you pick up the phone, you call the front desk, and we come up and replace it.
Okay, so is it furnished?
No.
All
You
right.
bring your own
Bring your
furniture.
furniture.
So
But
you
what's
make
included? The appliances are there. What about washer and dryer?
washer and dryer in every apartment for
Okay.
independent living. Dishwasher for independent living. Full kitchens. Some have stoves, some have cooktops. It's your choice. All of the utilities in the apartment are included.
Interesting.
The only thing that a resident would pay for is their own phone and their own cable television.
Okay. Now, is the place already wired for cable? Or,
It
oh, that's
is.
all done in
Yes.
advance. They just have to contact cable and have
Just
it
contact
wired.
Comcast.
What about what is it? Is the price that you pay for rent based on income levels?
No, it isn't. It's all private pay.
Really
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah, so in independent living, there's a whole range, but it starts at $32.50 a month, and it goes up to $38.50 a month. And because we're not a large corporate organization, and because it is family owned, what we specialize in is we try to come in $500 to $1,000 less per month than our competitors.
That's very interesting. So, a single person for $3,200 a month, they would have an apartment. which is completely paid for other than phone and cable, including 3 meals a day
And housekeeping.
and housekeeping.
And they would get to take advantage of all of the amenities that we offer in the building.
Which, having taken a look at that video that we're going to show in a little bit,
Yeah.
it's quite interesting what you've got down there.
Yeah.
The only thing you really needed was an in-ground pool.
A few people have said that
Is
to
that right?
us, yeah.
Well, I always wondered, the property that was directly across from you years ago was for sale. Which is down,
Oh.
that would have been a perfect, area for a dock and so forth. But anyway, okay, so that's for the independent, right?
Yes.
Now let's go to assisted living.
So assisted
What's different
living,
there?
what the main difference is, it's everything that I just spoke about in independent living, but in assisted living, the resident gets 45 minutes plus of care per day. So
Okay.
what that means is that if somebody needs help with a shower, if they need help with medication, if they need help with getting dressed or undressed, whatever that individual needs, somebody's going to help them with those needs every single day.
Okay. Now, is the price for that different than?
It is different because
'Cause you have
care is
different-
involved.
Right.
So it's more labor intensive. And so the price point for assisted living starts at $4,400
Okay.
and it goes up to $5,600.
Okay.
Again, depending on what a person selects for an
Okay.
apartment style.
So once again, they would have to bring their own furniture and so forth. The only thing that's different is the assisted part of it.
Right, the
which is
personal
40 to
care
45 minutes a
component.
day. Okay. Do they also have like a washer and dryer and all that stuff?
So they have a full kitchen as
Yep.
well. They don't have washer and dryers in the apartment. They have them on the floor that they're
Okay.
living on.
Okay.
And so they can do that, or we can do that for them.
Okay, so in the unit itself, or in the facility itself, the assisted living area is a separate area? All the rooms
Assisted-
together?
No, assisted
It's all
living is on
integrated?
every floor.
Okay, so it's all integrated?
It's all integrated.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
The only area that is separate is our memory impairment program.
Okay, which is the one I'm going to get to right now. Now, tell me about that.
So memory impairment is really for people who are not safe to be unsupervised. So we've set up a system. It's a comfortable, and we'll see it, small area where there's much less confusion and people will have all of their personal care needs met, much more than they'll have in assisted living. So people will be able to come and go on the unit. They have their own private sun deck so they can go outside if they want to. But it's really important for those individuals to have the same routine, the same patterns, and for it to be a calm environment. So those units those apartments are specifically designed to be smaller. People with dementia need to make things as simple as possible. So that's how the unit is set up.
Now, the unit would be like for single, or could a couple move in there with like one person having dementia?
They certainly can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that is in a separate area. That is kind of a controlled area.
Yes, that is a locked area.
Okay.
So family members, anybody that comes would have to have a keypad entry to be able to access in and out.
Okay. Now, how many units totally is there? Or how many that it would be considered like families or whatever?
Yeah, so we have 90 apartments, and there are 17 independent living apartments, 53 assisted, and 20 memory.
Interesting.
And so typically what happens is that people will come in independent living, and then as their needs increase, they may decide to switch to assisted living.
I see.
But our goal is to have people remain in their home throughout their life. So if people need additional services, even hospice services, we would be happy to bring those in.
Interesting. Interesting. How about, are there medical staff, like doctor, nurses, and stuff like that? Are they on?
Yeah, so our nurse, who I just hired, who's from Winthrop, is an RN, and she oversees all of the caregivers, the CNAs and the home health aides. A nurse is in the building 7 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day. And when a nurse isn't in the building, she's on call. But there is always staff in the building 24/7. So there'll be a CNA. If a resident needs anything in the middle of the night, they can call and a CNA will respond.
Now, how about the use of automobiles? Is each unit, not being familiar with the final plan was, what is there, a space and a half for each unit? Is that what was designed?
Yeah, I think we have about 55 spaces
Okay, all right.
for the residents,
Okay.
which really will be ample, I think.
Now, can a resident have a guest?
Absolutely.
So it's just like having your own apartment?
It's just like having your own apartment with all the amenities of hotel living.
Okay, okay. So visit is the same way, if they could come in
Same
at
way,
any time?
anytime. We will ask them to stop at the concierge desk and sign in and out so we'll know
Yep.
who's in the building.
Which makes a lot of sense. Which makes a lot of sense. Well, let's kind of take time to look at the video. There it is, the new sign.
So we're looking at the front door and the entrance of the concierge. That will lead you right into the living room library area. So there's lots of opportunities for cards and games. Double-sided fireplace, and boy, in a day like today, you could use that fireplace. This is the pub. In the pub is where you'll always have available coffees and teas and muffins. You can grab a cup of coffee, read the paper, go outside, sit in our courtyard seating. And when it's time for meals, you'll have it here in our dining rooms. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner is served here. It's just restaurant style. You'll sit down, there'll be a menu, and you make a selection from the menu. But if you wanted to have a private dining experience, you reserve our private dining room. Now we're looking at the dementia unit. Dementia unit has their own movie theater. Here's where the residents will use the washing machines, and this is an example of a studio in dementia.
I see.
Oh, here's our card and billiard room. So we're having the pool table installed, but this will be an area where I'm sure we'll get a lot of use. Movie theater is available with popcorn to boot. And in the back is 2 computer stations. And now we're going to take a look at a typical kitchen in independent living and large, ample size living room and bedroom, and look at that view. Isn't that a view, huh?
Yep.
That's $1 million view. But it gives you a sense of how large the apartments are. And this is what can be done with an apartment. This is our furnished model. So this is a smaller 1-bedroom, and this is actually an example of an assisted living apartment to give you a sense of how large that is. All of the bathrooms are handicapped accessible with the pull-down seat. And this is our spa room, and here you can have a walk-in tub. We also will have a beauty salon and barber shop. So really everything you could ever need or want is right there in the community.
It does look like a hotel.
Yeah.
It does look like a hotel,
Yeah.
and certainly you get the services of a hotel. Speaking of that, like, do you provide any type of services like transportation or anything like that?
We do, actually. You'll see our van around town. It'll say the Arbors at Winthrop, and the residents will determine where we're going to go. So the personality of the building will develop, but we'll do group transportation to outings and stores and whatever the residents want to do.
Right. So the average day in living at the Arbors is really up to the individuals themselves.
Oh, it absolutely.
And there'll be things to do. As you mentioned, you showed us, like, there'll be a billiard room and there'll be card games and so forth. They want to watch movies, but it's their life. It's a free thing.
Right. They will have as much privacy or as much participation as they want. But similar to a cruise ship, every day there'll be a menu of activities that's going on. So at noontime, we might have a cooking demonstration in the pub. And at 1 o'clock, you know, we might have a lecture in the activity room. At 3 o'clock, there might be a movie going on. At 5 o'clock, there might be a billiard game happening. So the residents will have their choice throughout the day to take part in what they want to do.
That's interesting. Very interesting. How does one determine if the Arbors is affordable to them?
You know, I get that question so much. And sometimes people say, Patty, that's a lot of money. I can't do that. And I say, well, let's think about it. So you're living at home right now, and let's look at all of your expenses. What are you paying for taxes, and insurance, and heat, snow removal, landscaping, gasoline, food costs alone, maintenance. So you add up all of those costs, and people are blown away when they realize how much money they're spending. And then you add that to what your monthly income is, and lo and behold, wow, I get this reaction quite often that, you know what, I didn't think I could do it, but I think I can.
Interesting. You know, where it's like a hotel, you think you would give like points or something.
Hey, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe we'll look into that.
Oh, goodness. So, as far as people going down to visit, they can go down at any time, but usually it's on Saturdays that you usually have like an open house kind of thing?
So we're going to have our grand opening in probably at the end of January. But between now and then, people are reserving apartments. So if you want to come down and you want to take a look, every Saturday you're open. We're open from 10 to 2. You can feel free to stop by and get a tour and get a feel of what we're offering and what we do.
So what is the process? Let's say that a person does go and they visit. When they come and take the tour, are you given information relative to, you know, the process and so forth?
Oh, absolutely. So I will walk them through what the next steps are. It's very simple. If they want to reserve an apartment, they just leave a priority wait list deposit. There's no risk in doing that because they can get their check back at any time. It's not even cashed. All it does is reserves the unit that they want from being shown.
So what if you have a situation where there's, let's say a couple or a person comes down, they have a home, and they never thought of really doing this type of thing. They come and they get all excited. They say, I should do that. They put the numbers together and they said, maybe we should do this. Now they have to sell their house. So, I mean, is there an opportunity for them to kind of hold a place until their house is sold, which might take?
That's what the priority wait list deposit does.
Okay.
All that does, it puts them in a certain number. So let's say you make that decision, Ron, and you're number 15. When the apartment style comes available that you're looking for, I'll simply give you a call and ask if you're ready. And if you're not ready,
then you move down on the list.
Then you move down on the list.
Okay. Is there, in your experience from working with these folks, is there like an average age that people start thinking about doing this? I know it starts at you qualify if you're 62.
Right.
But is there kind of an age group that this thing kind of like forms up?
Sure, and you know, I've been doing this for a lot of years. And so 20 years ago, that number was a lot lower. 20 years ago, the average age for a person that was moving into assisted living or independent living was mid-70s.
Really?
Now, we're looking at mid-80s.
Mid-80s. Interesting. Well, that kind of makes sense when you think about it, because people are living longer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we pretty much covered a lot of the things that I have, you know, had on my list, but tell me a little about some of the other things. You know, you mentioned that Arbors has other areas, but how long have they been in this business? The folks
So we've been doing this, they've been doing this for about 16 years. And I encourage people to go on the website and look at some of the other communities.
Yeah, that's what I did. I actually went on, I put in Arbors Winthrop.
Yeah.
And you come up with Arbors, but you also come up with the Growler Group, which is interesting to actually look at and see, you know, their background and the family, the fact that the family runs it, which is kind of interesting. And they have you know, little different things that you can go into their management, Arbor Kids you can actually click on and see what that's all about. So it's a pretty interesting organization, and I was kind of quite surprised because I thought it was owned by some corporation, you know,
No, and
like an
I've
offspring.
I've always worked for large corporations. So for me, it's so refreshing to work with a small family-run business. And honestly, it's not about the bottom line for
Really?
these people. It's really about providing a nice lifestyle.
Well, based on the video that we saw, and I'm sure I'm going to make it up there myself to take a look
Good,
at the
I hope
place
you
because
do.
it looks beautiful from the outside. We have so many positive things going on. We were talking before we started the show that she's quite impressed with the town of Winthrop since she's worked here.
I'm hoping to be a resident myself soon.
Yeah? Are you going to work get a room?
My boss won't let me. I've
No,
tried.
but there's so many positive things happening in town. We just, there's another facility that used to be a school up in the Highlands area, the Dalrymple School, which is recently opened, and that's for, I think, 55 and up, or 56 and up. That's already sold out. The
Yes.
place is full. And here again, they're putting all their landscaping in, and that looks awesome.
Yeah.
We have another one going on Veterans Road and
Yes.
Shirley Street, which is the temple.
Yes.
So these facilities are great in the community. They add to the beauty of the community. And the greatest thing that's good about it, other than public housing, is the fact that it goes on the tax rolls, which is very, very important.
It's wonderful for the town,
taxpayers.
and it's wonderful for the seniors that
Right.
live in Winthrop.
Exactly, exactly. Well, Patty, listen, thank you for taking the time to come by.
It was so
And,
nice to be here. So
and
nice to meet you.
Same here. And I'll be up to see you shortly to take a tour.
Good. I
Okay.
look forward to it.
Well, we've been talking to Patty Cusack from the Arbors, which is the new assisted living facility located in the Winthrop Hospital, the old Winthrop Hospital. Take the time to go up and visit them on Saturday. You can go up and take a full tour of the place. Quite impressive based on the video we just saw. So until next time, this is Ron Vecchia. You've been watching Community Forum.